And on this episode of Why Are You Hiring These Assholes? We have this from Game Fragger. Fallout director Jonathan Nolan didn't set out to make a show that pleases fans. Earlier this week, we were finally treated to the first official trailer for Prime's video series adaptation of Fallout. Looks lifeless to me. It just looks okay, it's Amazon Prime, therefore I do not trust it. I don't think they could do many things right over there. And an adaptation of a very, very, very popular game series? I think that might be too much pressure for them to handle. Nolan is an admitted fan of the Fallout franchise. In a roundtable discussion, he admitted that Fallout 3 devoured about a year of my life. Were you that bad at the game that it took you that long to beat it? His passion for the franchise is ultimately what helped him land into the director's chair for the series adaptation. And his approach in developing the show wasn't to make something that would please fans of the video games, but simply to make the show he wanted to make. This is your executive producer, people. Stop simping for these people online. They're all trash. I don't think you really can set out to please the fans of anything. It's actually really easy to please a fan base. You make something really, really good. And from the trailer, from what it looked like, this guy seems to have played the game a few times. So, why would he go out and say, oh, I made something that's not for the fans of this game? Yeah, I know it's not going to be a shot-for-shot remake of the game with a billion different side quests and with tons of different endings you could choose from. But wouldn't you say, hey, I made a Fallout adaptation that should capture what the game really is? But no. This guy knows best. He's smart about it. He's already putting the pieces in place to have all the excuses in the world when this show flops. It's going to have big numbers day one. I do not doubt that for a second. And I've told that to many people that disagree with me. This show's going to have huge numbers day one. But that's about it. You're going to hear about this show for a couple of days, and it's going to die off. And people say, what's the big deal with not having a weekly release? Okay. What makes more sense to you? Do you want people talking about your show for a day or for about, 10 weeks? Yeah, Netflix is a terrible example. Their shows come and go and die in a week, and no one cares about them. I think you have to come into this trying to make the show that you want to make it. It's kind of a fool's errand to try to figure out how to make people happy in that way. You got to make yourself happy, and I've made myself very happy with the show. Fire this man. Can you imagine Amazon reading these quotes? Thinking that this man gave a shit about the Fallout franchise? He just took his own fan fiction ideas and that was it. That's what I think this man did was. I think he had a fan fiction for Fallout and said, yep, this is what I'm going to go with. If you don't like my show, you're just a bad person. Because right now, all the pieces are in place. The show doesn't look that great, and your director is quoted in saying that he's not making this show to please the fans of the game. Again, he says, I don't think you can really set out to please the fans of anything. I have a question. Just as I'm reading this, I just have a simple, dumb question to ask. How come the people that made the game aren't making these shows? You ever think about that, though? You know, if you're making an adaptation of something, wouldn't you just grab the writers that wrote the game? Wouldn't you go to Bethesda and say, hey, we're making a Fallout show for Amazon? How about we grab some of your writers and we'll just make this show together? Did you guys grab anyone that worked on any of the Fallout games or did anything that was involved in the franchise? Who is this man? Now, as I ask the question, who is this man, I bring you to his IMDb page, okay? Memento, Prestige, The Dark Knight, don't know what the other thing is, The Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar, 103 episodes of Person of Interest, and 36 episodes of Westworld. Clearly this man could do some things right. Did he say that it was hard to please the Batman fans with The Dark Knight? How do you write that movie and then say a statement like that where, oh, it's impossible to please the fans? This man, from his resume, looks like a guy that knows what he's talking about. From his quotes, I thought he was a lot younger. Apparently he's like 47 or something like that. I thought he was like 20 or something like that. Because who would say such a quote? Who would say something like, oh, it's hard to please the fans? What do you think it's harder to please, okay? The Batman fans or the Fallout fans? I'm pretty sure it's harder to please the Batman fans. And yet, you somehow wrote or were in the room. Was this like a Kathleen Kennedy thing? Is that what's happening here? Where he was just like in the room as these things are being written, and he kind of like maybe put a punctuation here and there, like, oh wait, great job here, let's put you on as a writer or something like that. And now that he's off doing his own things, now he just has no idea what to do. Because I would be surprised at that at all. Because how do you go from doing these, again, just pull out a few of these things, okay? The Prestige, The Dark Knight, and Interstellar. If you tell people you worked on those three things, you're set. No one's ever going to question you. You can go off and do anything you want for the rest of your career. As long as you have those three things, people will at least listen to you. So now you are an executive producer on Fallout the show. A show that essentially just writes itself from playing the games. And you don't know how to please the fans, and you're already telling them, I'm not making this show for you guys, I'm making it for myself? Does that sound like someone that should be in charge of anything? I think this might be a Kathleen Kennedy situation. This man is the new Kathleen Kennedy, because I don't believe someone that was involved in all of these products here could possibly say those quotes out there about this show. Unbelievable. What do you guys think about that? Do you have faith in the show after reading those quotes? Do you really think this show's going to be good? Or am I just overreacting here? Let me know what you guys think about that.